My name is Margaret, and I'm 69 years old. If you're an American over 60, you're definitely not going to regret clicking on this video. And if someone had told me 10 years ago that retirement would feel more confusing than raising kids, buying a house, or working full-time, I probably would have laughed. But here I am, and here we all are, trying to figure out how to live the last chapter of our lives with some peace, dignity, and enough money to sleep without worry. I want to share with you the things I learned the hard way, the things no one explained to me, the things I wish I had known before I retired. Not fancy advice, not complicated financial talk, just simple truths from someone who has lived through the transition and felt every bump on the way. And if you're retired, close to retirement, or just trying to make sense of it all, I hope something I say brings you a little clarity or comfort, or at least the feeling that you're not figuring all of this out alone. When I first stopped working, I thought retirement would feel like a long vacation. I imagined slow mornings, quiet afternoons, and peaceful evenings. I thought stress would melt away. But the truth is, the first year felt nothing like a vacation. It felt unsettling, like I had stepped off a moving train and the world kept going without me. Nobody tells you that when you retire, you grieve a little. You grieve your routine, you grieve your sense of purpose, you grieve the part of yourself that was needed every day. I spent that first year waking up too early, wandering around the house, checking the mail 3 times a day, feeling guilty for sitting down and wondering if I made a mistake. If you felt or feel anything like that, let me tell you, nothing is wrong with you. It's normal, completely normal. But eventually, I learned a few lessons that made everything easier, and I want to pass them on to you. The first thing I learned is this: retirement isn't something you figure out in a week or a month. It's something you grow into, the same way you grew into adulthood or parenthood or any other phase of life. You aren't supposed to know what you're doing right away. There's no handbook for this. The second thing I learned is that money feels different after 60. It's not about getting rich. It's not about building anything new. It's about making what you have last and making peace with the fact that you don't have decades to recover from mistakes the way you did at 40 or 50. I used to think my biggest financial fear would be running out of money. But as the years passed, I realized my real fear was not being prepared for the surprises: medical bills, home repairs, inflation, prescription costs, all those things that jump at you when you least expect them. So I made a rule for myself, and it has saved me more times than I can count. If it isn't necessary, if it isn't urgent, and if it doesn't bring joy, don't spend on it. Simple as that. People my age often get pressured into buying things we don't need: insurance add-ons, warranties, supplements, upgrades, memberships. But when you're on a fixed income, every unnecessary expense steals a little bit of your peace of mind. Another thing I learned was how important it is to simplify. Simplify your bills, simplify your accounts, simplify the things you own. I used to think having choices made life richer. Now I think having peace makes life richer. I canceled subscriptions I forgot about. I switched complicated phone plans to something basic. I moved all my automatic payments to one day of the month so I wouldn't get surprised. I even went through my house and gave away things I hadn't touched in years. And you know what? Each time I let something go, the house felt lighter, and so did I. But there's something else that surprised me, something no one warned me about. When you retire, your world gets smaller unless you deliberately keep it open. Friends get busy, children have their own families. People you've known for years move or get sick or drift away. If you don't reach out, if you don't stay connected, loneliness creeps in quietly. Not at all once, but like a slow shadow. That was one of the hardest parts for me. I didn't realize how much small interactions at work kept me feeling alive. And when they stopped, I felt invisible. So I made myself a promise. Talk to one person every day. It didn't have to be long. It didn't have to be deep. A neighbor, a cousin, someone from church, a friend from years ago, even the cashier at the store. Talking keeps your heart alive. Talking reminds you that you're still part of the world. Talking matters more than people think. I also learned the importance of staying curious. At our age, it's easy to say, "I'm too old for new things," but that phrase is the beginning of shrinking your life down until there's nothing left but routine, and routine alone can make the days blend together. One day, my daughter told me, "Mom, learn something small every week, just one new thing," and she was right. It didn't have to be anything big. I learned how to grow basil in a pot. I learned how to use voice commands on my phone. I learned how to make a new soup recipe. I learned how to stretch my back in the mornings so it wouldn't hurt as much. Little things, but little things can make a day brighter, and bright days add up. Another lesson, don't ignore your health, but don't obsess over it either. Doctors, medications, tests, appointments, they can easily take over your whole life if you let them. Yes, take care of yourself. Yes, stay on top of what matters, but don't spend your days worrying about every ache and pain. Bodies over 60 are allowed to creak and complain. It's part of the package. Find the balance between caution and living. Something else helped me. Something small but powerful. I made a list of things that genuinely make my day better. Not big things, little ones. Morning sun on the porch, a warm blanket, a phone call with my daughter, good soup, a favorite old movie, a 10-minute walk, the smell of laundry, a quiet afternoon nap. When days felt long or empty, I picked one thing from the list and did it. I didn't wait for joy to show up on its own. I invited it in. And finally, there is one truth I want you to hear clearly. Retirement is not the end of your story. It's not the last chapter. It's a new chapter. A slower one, yes. A gentler one, maybe, but not a lesser one. You are not done growing. You are not done learning. You are not done loving or being loved. You still have time, maybe more than you think. You still matter more than you know. You still have value, no matter what the world tries to tell you. And if you ever feel lost or overwhelmed or unsure of how to navigate this stage of life, remember that you're not alone. There are millions of us figuring it out day by day, learning lessons as we go, sharing stories like this one so we can help each other. Retirement isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. It's about understanding that your worth doesn't depend on what you produce or how busy you are or who needs you. Your worth comes from the life you've lived, the people you've touched, and the person you still are. If my story and my lessons help you feel even a little more confident, a little less alone, or a little more hopeful, then I'm grateful. And if you want to hear more simple, honest advice from someone walking the same path as you are, stay close. We'll take these steps together, one day at a time.